Hello and welcome to New Europe Studios, where you can watch us make the news. Our guest today is Member of the European Parliament, Jorgo Chatzimarkakis. Jorgo, thank you for being with us today.
It's an honor. It's a pleasure.
You've been a member of the European Parliament for 2 terms, elected in Germany.
That's right. I have a Greek name. I have Greek parents, but I have been born in Germany and raised in Germany. So I decided one day to enter politics in the country I was living. And that is why I've chosen the Liberal Democratic Party at the time, which was a center force, a force in favor of Europe. That changed the last years. It has become a not skepticist, but Euro-critical party. That's also a reason why I left the party exactly this week, and I will continue my political term in another country, in another party, and I'm the new president of the new party.
We've learned of your plans to run for election in Greece, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. You have a new party coming up. It's all very exciting. But we saw you this week in Strasbourg put on a mask to protest the disposal of chemical weapons.
Προστατέψτε την Μεσόγειο!
As we all know, the peace process in Syria is difficult, but the disarmament of Syria has started. Nobody wants to put into trouble or into danger this disarmament, but nobody was found to destruct the chemical weapons of Syria. 3 countries have been asked: Norway, Belgium, and Albania. They refused to do it on their territory. That is why especially the Americans decided to do it on a boat, and is done now in the Mediterranean, in the middle of 3 countries: Malta, Italy, and Greece. And this fact is not very well known. And I have put on the gas war mask, Soviet style, so greenish.
Quite a strong image.
Quite a strong image. I think I was the first one to do this in the plenary of the European Parliament. Exactly to inform colleagues, but also the European public, that something is going on there. This is an activity that is done in secret. Greenpeace at the beginning was in favor of it. That is possibly why the reaction of politicians and of societies was not so strong. In Crete, where my ancestors come from, so I regard Crete as my home, this is different. In Crete, people are extremely sensitive to this issue, and they wish that the other Europeans would know what is happening there. In the meanwhile, Greenpeace has changed their attitude towards the disarmament, and they want to have transparency. They want to know what is happening there. I was asked after the activity, because that was an activist action in the European Parliament, by at least 30 members of the European Parliament, what are you doing there? So I could inform them. They were quite interested. So this is the way how you kick a door to open it in order to make things known. And the next thing we will do is to visit the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. This is the famous organization that got the Nobel Prize last time, to ask whether this is all okay and whether this could be done on a territory, since they say it's safe, it's not dangerous.
And the reactions from your colleagues in the European Parliament were positive? They had no idea this was going on?
No, nobody had any idea. It's amazing that even in Italy or Malta, the knowledge about this is quite low. But in fact, it is going on, and in fact, we have to know everything about it. There's no time pressure. Especially the United States of America have put an enormous time pressure on the whole procedure. I don't see the time pressure. I want that everybody knows what is going on, first. Second, that it's clear that there's no danger for the environment, because the Mediterranean is a closed sea. So it's more exposed to environmental danger, and that is why we need transparency first.
And the position of Greece, the official government, on this?
It's quiet. I have addressed two governments. Prime Minister Letta at that time, he's now replaced by Prime Minister Renzi, and of course Greek Prime Minister. No reaction so far. So what we can see is that the governments don't want to be touched upon this. In general, I have never got a reaction by the Greek government when I addressed them and issued them as a member. So this is nothing new, but the societies, the civil society is really concerned in Crete, really concerned. And you have to address the issue if you're a serious politician. And I feel Cretan and European, and so I want to address the issue.
And this is in a country where austerity has really taken its toll, and if you're still standing up for things like the environment, it's considered a luxury.
It is considered a luxury, but to be clear, for Crete, the seas, the Mediterranean Sea, is, so to say, the bread and butter of the economy. Yes, there is agriculture, but tourism is extremely important for Crete, in general for Greece. Tourism was one of the main income sources for the Greek economy. In 2013, it was a record high year for tourism. So this all would really be in danger if something goes wrong. So then not only austerity would hit the country, but also an environmental catastrophe. So this is not luxury. This is saving your bread and butter basis, and this is what we're going to do.
Well, I hope there's some official response to this and there's some
Hopefully.
follow-up. Let's move to a different topic now. We have the work of the infamous Troika in Greece, which was quite heavily criticized in the European Parliament by a report in the Econ Committee.
That's right. The European Parliament decided quite late, I must say, nearly with the end of our legislature, of our 5-year period. We have issued an investigative committee, a subcommittee to the Econ Committee, which took a deep look at the Troika, at what the Troika did in different countries, not only Greece. And the outcome is, and this was voted upon last Monday in the Econ Committee, the outcome is that members of Parliament say clearly that the medicine was the wrong medicine, that the way of treating Greece, especially Greece, did not lead to an economic and a political solution. So it was a harsh criticism of the measures have been taken. And I have to say, it's quite amazing who voted against it. So most of the high majority of the members of the Econ Committee were, of course, in favor. We had two rapporteurs. We had Mr. Karas, who is an Austrian conservative, and we had Mr. Ngok, who is a French socialist. So you could have expected somehow a balanced approach. But in fact, Mrs. Merkel's party people, so the German CDU and CSU, were the only ones, next to the communists of Greece, to be against it. I mean, it's amazing. It shows that the Germans insist that this approach was the right approach. They insist that it's a non-ideological, it's a technocratic approach, which of course was proved wrong by this investigation of the committee.
Is this political stubbornness, or is this voting along the party lines?
I think Mrs. Merkel does not want, before the European elections, to change the line that has been taken by the European leaders, well, by herself, because she is the one who dominates very much like an hegemonial power what is being done in the Troika work. And she gave the impression last year that this would change with the German elections. So there was a say that should the Social Democrats in Germany come on board of the German government in the so-called Grand Coalition, this would change. In fact, it didn't change. So the next stop, the next call is the European elections, as the German government now says. It's quite an open secret in Berlin and in Frankfurt that after the European elections there will be a continuation of the rescue package for Greece. And there's a talk about a 50 years payback time for the dues, for the Greek dues.
But of course that won't be announced until after the election.
That will be announced after the elections, but it's already discussed. The point I want to make is I can understand why you have to continue a policy which has been proven wrong by the IMF, by the European Parliament, by experts, and you can see it. I mean, in Greece, the youth unemployment has reached the 67%. This is amazing that 2/3 of the young youth society must regard themselves as garbage because they are useless for the society. It's not acceptable. But not only that, the mortality of the newborn, and this has been shown by a study that was published 1 week ago, so very fresh study, has gone up by 43% in the last 3 years. In Greece. This happens only in war times. This doesn't happen in normal peace times. That means that Greece is something like in a war, because otherwise you can't explain these figures. So why is Mrs. Merkel not stopping this policy? Because she doesn't want to lose 2 or 3 seats to the Euroscepticist parties, which in Germany are called Alternative for Germany. So there's a new party which is against Greece within the Eurozone. So in order to win some 2 or 3 votes, she risks the life of many people in Greece. So I can't accept that.
And the people in Greece are, of course, at their wits' end. They don't have anything more to give. I think anyone who visits Greece can tell that these people have suffered and continue to suffer more than the fair share of people.
I mean, this number, 43% of mortality rate of newborn, has 2 or 3 reasons, many reasons. One reason is, of course, that parents, especially the mothers, don't feel well. They feel under pressure. So the economic situation has led to a conscience which does not make a mother feel well during the pregnancy. The second, of course, is that pharmaceutical products are missing in Greece. And the third thing is that people cannot afford pharmaceutical products. So it's a very, very dangerous mixture that we have seen in the Weimar Republic in Germany in the 20s and early 30s, and we all know where it led to. It led to the Third Reich. So why do the Germans, who themselves have experienced this extremely explosive mix of policies in their own history, why do they impose on others the same dangerous mix? I can't understand that. That's also one of the reasons why I change countries, why I leave Germany behind and say enough is enough. I am thankful and grateful to the Germans that they allowed me to represent them in the European Parliament, but I want to be an authentic politician, and that is why I turn to Greece now.
You were speaking today on the situation of the economy in Greece in the Greek Economic Forum in the European Parliament in Brussels. What did you cover? What are the kinds of solutions that we can offer for the next 5 years?
Well, most of the very young participants, not only, but most of them were quite young participants, asked for a better education, asked for a better use also of the experience, but also of the training that young people get. But they called for a refurbishing of the educational system in Greece. That was one big aspect. Then, of course, investment in innovation. This is nothing which would surprise you. I brought into the discussion, and that was broadly also applauded, the discussion about a youth bond. Because if you want to give these young people a chance to find a job in Greece now, then you need urgently money now.
So tell us about these youth bonds. What are they exactly? Youth
bonds would be something Mr. Draghi buys. So it's, in fact, printing money. I put it quite clear from the beginning. And the Greek government, also the Italian, Spanish government, they would sell these bonds to Mr. Draghi. But they are only allowed to use the money, the income they get, in order to fight youth unemployment by, for instance, fueling banks and funds that are used in member states for the economy, public banks like the KfW in Germany, in order to pass on loans to small and medium enterprises should they engage young people? This is a scheme that works quite well on a volunteer and private basis in Spain, where foundations give €2,000 per year, could be more, €2,000 per year to any company that employs a youngster. Another idea is the dual apprenticeship. It is very well known in parts of Italy, northern Italy, in Austria and in Germany, and it combines the practical job with the theoretical experience, with the theoretical training. So this dual apprenticeship leads to a diploma, and this has helped to make the German economy very robust, and also the educational system very robust. In order to introduce this in Greece, you need money. So if this youth bond money, this youth bond income could be put directly into the dual apprenticeship system, that would be great for Greece, but in general for the European economy. I mean, you have to see that in the last 3 years in Germany there have been created 500,000 new jobs. At the same time in Greece, 1 million of jobs have been lost. I mean, this dynamic is so difficult and is so counterproductive, and that in the 20th year of the internal market and 10th year of the Eurozone, it's unacceptable. So we have to go new ways, we have to find new ideas, and this youth bond idea is new. And if somebody tells me in Germany that it would bring up the risk of inflation, I can only laugh. We have a deflation problem in Europe now and not an inflation problem.
So we're talking about the support of youth SMEs and startups, as it were.
Exactly. So this money would then, as you say, be used for startups, SMEs, yes, but also to create them, but also to give them to give them loans with very low interest rates and long terms to be paid back in order to employ young people.
So there's a lot of interest about your new political party that you're founded in Greece, the Hellenic European Citizens.
Yes, I'm happy to hear that, and it's, as you say, the reaction to this announcement that we would run for the European elections at first hand with a new platform, I would say, because I don't like the word party. Party means that you are pars, that you are only a part of a political system. We would like to express the views of all Hellenic European citizens. What does that mean? We are anti-ideologic. We are not left, not right. We try to wear no color, no political color, because we think that dogmatism is out, pragmatism is in. What do I want to say? Ideologies lead to stereotypes. If you follow one ideology, you exclude a lot of other solutions. What people need now in countries like Greece are solutions, and not talk about solutions.
But your electoral program, let's say, will have concrete proposals.
Of course.
In every sense, from
of course.
Economy to education, which follows certain political principles.
Some of the, first of all, we have values. We follow values. Most of the values we abide by, or we want to really make known, are values of the classical Hellenic epoch, of the classical Hellenic times. And there are a lot of strong values like autonomy. Autonomy is an old Greek value, or eudaimonia, that's the happiness, the pursuit of happiness, which have been forgotten these days. If you are autonomous, you are free. That's another ancient Greek value. So we have values, but we use these values as a basis, not to create a set of ideas that are non-flexible, like in an ideology. We want to use these values to pick solution-oriented policies, and these policies can stem from a left background, from a rightist background, from a liberal background. So it's a mixture, like in a salad. It's a mixture of different solution-driven recipes, and that is why an ideology would hamper to make this approach, and we see that people like it. So people come and people are interested in Greece, especially in Greece, and I'm quite happy about that.
And when it comes time to find a home in the European political party spectrum?
That is interesting. I would then look after many things. As you know, the European Parliament has a different methodology to give posts to parties, to national groups. That's the D'Hondt system. So one has to know this in order to understand what I say now. I would go into a political group which helps Greece and the Greek society and the Greek recovery most. That could be the EPP, because the EPP needs opposition within the group. The Merkel-Barroso course is wrong, is definitely wrong, but nobody has, so to say, the courage to stand up within the EPP. Sometimes Juncker did it, so I would support Juncker in criticizing Merkel and Merkel-Barroso.
But now Merkel has supported Juncker in the presidency and the Commission.
Yeah, because she has no choice. There's nobody else. But definitely an opposition group within the EPP is needed. If PASOK, the Greek Socialist Party, or another social democratic party, doesn't make it to the European Parliament, then it would be a strategic mistake not to enter the S&D group, because then there would be no Greek voice in this big group. So I can't exclude anything now. If the Greens, for instance, come up with an offer that they would offer us, the Hellenic European citizens, the chair in a committee which is important for Greece, if I would join them, why shouldn't I join them? So you see, I don't exclude to go to attach to a political group. It depends on what it brings the Greeks.
Well, that's the politics behind the politics. Today with us was Jorgo Chatzimarkakis. Jorgo, thank you very much. You're
Thank
always
you.
welcome to come on down to New Europe Studios, where you can eat, drink, relax, and watch us make the news.